Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever felt that profound, gut-wrenching moment?
When someone you trusted implicitly.
Yeah, exactly. Someone you really, truly believed in, and they just utterly let you down.
It's way more than just disappointment, isn't it? Much more.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
like the very ground beneath your feet just vanished in.
Vanishes, and the air leaves your lungs like a gasp.
That feeling, right? That seismic shift in your basic reality. That's what we're diving into today.
The whole emotional journey after betrayal, it's intricate, tumultuous, often.
Yeah, and it's not just about something that happened to you. It changes your whole internal landscape.
Like the source material puts it, your whole world got shaken up.
That really captures it. It's
Yeah.
something that touches almost everyone,
Mhm.
either directly or through someone we know.
Absolutely. And understanding it is, well, it's fundamental to understanding ourselves, really, the human experience.
Definitely.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how universal betrayal is. But we often struggle to even talk about it.
Right, let alone understand all the complex feelings it kicks up.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is essentially to distill the core ideas from the source material we've looked at.
Kind of provide a map, right, for these really intricate feelings.
A clear, empathetic map.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this particular source does something brilliant, actually.
What's that?
It explains these huge, often overwhelming emotional concepts really simply, almost like explaining feelings to a little kid.
Huh. That sounds maybe too simple.
You'd think so, but actually that simplicity makes the deep, complex stuff incredibly clear, really resonant for anyone.
Okay, interesting. So it makes it accessible.
Very accessible. So we're going to trace that journey from the initial shock, that kind of disorientation.
All the way through to, well, hopefully acceptance eventually.
Right. We'll look at each stage, provide some context, maybe some analysis, using that mountain climb metaphor the source talks about.
The goal being that you, listening, can get a handle on this quickly, but also thoroughly.
Exactly. Find those aha moments. Understand different angles without it feeling like information overload.
Got it. And it does sound like a challenging climb, but maybe an enlightening one too.
It's the hope.
So delving into betrayal, it's not just a minor thing, is it? Not just being a bit disappointed.
Not at all.
Our source paints this incredibly vivid picture right away. It says, imagine you have a best friend, and they promise to keep a secret or always play with you, but then they break that promise in a really big way, and you find out.
Oh, yeah.
That feeling is kind of like betrayal. You can almost feel it, just hearing that.
Yeah.
That visceral reaction.
You really can. It's put so simply, but it hits hard.
And it goes on describing it as something that hurts really, really bad deep inside your heart.
An internal wound. That's a good way to put it. Deeper than a physical one.
Yeah, and it compares it to losing something important like a favorite toy or even a part of your own world.
That last part.
Sorry?
Losing a part of your own world. That's powerful.
It really is. It suggests it's not just about the person or even what they did.
Right. It's about how it erodes your sense of security, your reality.
Yeah, the predictability you thought you had. And maybe even a piece of your own identity that was tied up in that trust.
Exactly. It's not just an event out there.
It's an internal earthquake.
Precisely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, that's why betrayal feels so utterly destabilizing.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
Well, it's more than just a broken promise.
Okay.
It's like a violation of an assumed reality, a catastrophic one.
Assumed reality.
Yeah, think about it. From when we're really young, we build our understanding of the world and our place in it on trust.
Right. Trust in family, friends, partners, institutions even.
Even our own judgment about who is trustworthy. It's this whole network, often unconscious.
Okay.
So when someone you've placed deep trust in shatters that, it's not just their action that hurts.
It's the whole structure collapsing.
Exactly. The framework of your expectations, your sense of safety, your understanding of that relationship, it all just crumbles.
That makes sense. It disrupts everything.
Fundamentally, the source says it can feel like your whole world got shaken up. And I don't think that's hyperbole.
No, it feels accurate.
It's a breakdown of that foundational cornerstone trust. And when that goes,
The whole building feels shaky. Your emotional and cognitive understanding.
of the relationship and often, crucially, of yourself within it, it's all compromised.
Wow.
And this initial impact, this shattering, it sets the stage for everything that follows, that whole emotional journey.
The chaos, the confusion.
Yeah. It's like your internal compass just starts spinning wildly. You're lost for a bit.
And what a journey it is. That source metaphor, the mountain climb. I like that.
Me too. Your feelings can go through different stages, a bit like climbing a mountain with different stops along the way.
It immediately makes you think of effort, right? Challenges. Yeah. But also maybe clearer views eventually.
Potentially, yes. That's implied. And here's where it gets really interesting, and I think this is so important for listeners.
Okay.
The source is very clear. Everyone's journey is a little bit different.
Right.
So you might not go through these in exact order, and you might even go back to an earlier stage sometimes.
That's vital, because you could feel like you're doing it wrong if it doesn't follow neat steps.
Exactly. There's no wrong way. Your experience is unique, but these stages, they're like common signposts.
A map to help you figure out where you are, what you're feeling.
Precisely. So think of this next part as a guided tour, maybe, not a rigid checklist.
Okay. A tour of the stops on this emotional mountain climb, exploring what they feel like and maybe why they happen.
Exactly. And acknowledging that nonlinear part is it's critical, often overlooked.
Why do you think it's so critical?
Because human emotion isn't neat. It's not an algorithm. We're not robots.
Right. We bounce around.
Yeah, you might hang out at one stop for ages. You might jump between stages, even in the same day. And that's okay. It's normal.
So the framework just helps understand the types of feelings.
Yes, and it gives you validation, which is huge when you feel lost or isolated after something like betrayal.
It normalizes it and makes you feel less alone.
Exactly. It reassures you that your feelings, however wild they seem, are a natural response to something deeply unnatural.
Okay, let's start the climb then. Base camp. Or maybe that first steep bit.
Right at the beginning.
The first response the source points to is shock and denial. It calls it the no way stage.
Aptly named.
It describes it as just disbelief. You can't believe it's true. You might feel numb, detached, almost like you're watching a movie instead of living your own life.
Yeah, like there's a pane of glass between you and reality.
Your brain just won't or can't grasp what happened.
Thoughts like, this can't be happening, or mistake, there must be a mistake.
That immediate rejection of the painful truth. Not necessarily avoidance, but just sheer overwhelm.
Precisely. It's a fundamental response, like the system saying, whoa, too much, too fast.
And the why behind it is pretty fascinating.
It really is, psychologically and even neurobiologically. The source says your brain is trying to protect you.
Right.
Because the news is just too big and surprising to take in all at once. It's like a buffer.
A buffer?
Giving you time to slowly understand what happened. Think of it like a shock absorber for your mind.
Okay, that makes sense. When the impact is just too huge.
This cognitive buffer kicks in. It dulls the immediate pain or creates that distance.
And that serves a purpose.
A vital one. It gives your system time, precious time, to gradually absorb the hit without completely short-circuiting.
Because otherwise, the full force could just knock you out completely. Emotionally,
It
psychologically.
could be incapacitating, make it impossible to function, let alone start healing.
So denial isn't weakness.
Not at all. It's your brain's self-preservation kicking in, giving you a moment to breathe before the real climb starts.
Okay, so after that initial shock starts to fade, or maybe even while it's still kind of there,
Yeah.
what's next?
Well, then you might find yourself heading into the second stage, pain and guilt.
Or as the source calls it, the super ouchy heart stage, which is evocative.
It really is. The description is potent. After the no-way feeling, a really big, intense hurt washes over you.
And it's not just emotional, right?
Yeah.
It can be physical.
Definitely. The source mentions it can even make your tummy hurt or give you a headache, that deep heartache manifesting physically.
This is where it really starts to sink in.
Yeah.
The agony of it, the loss,
The emotional reckoning begins here, yes. And then there's that other tricky part.
the guilt. Was it my fault?
Exactly. That insidious thought, even though, as the source rightly says, it usually isn't.
That's so unfair. Carrying the pain and blaming yourself when you're the victim.
It's a terrible double burden. And this pain can feel just all-consuming, like a heavy cloak.
So why is this stage, this pain and guilt, why is it critical? It sounds awful.
It is awful, but it's critical. The source says this super ouchy feeling is a really important part of understanding just how much you've lost. Ah, okay. Like the way you thought things were.
Or the trust you had. It's where you register the true gravity of it all. The full weight of the loss hits you.
And it's not just losing the person, maybe. It's losing your vision of the future, your beliefs.
Often, yes. The sense of safety, predictability, and those physical symptoms, the ouchy heart, The headaches, they just underscore how linked our minds and bodies are.
Emotional distress showing up physically.
Absolutely. And the guilt. Well, that often comes from this desperate need to make sense of the senseless.
How so?
If you can find a cause, even if it's blaming yourself, it gives this false, temporary sense of control, or at least an explanation.
Trying to find a reason for something incomprehensible.
Exactly. So this is where the emotional reckoning really takes hold.
Yeah.
Acknowledging the irreversible changes
It's like a necessary descent into the reality of the loss.
before you can even start thinking about climbing back up towards recovery.
Right. Okay. And then, as that intense pain is swirling, sometimes a different kind of energy comes up. Yes. A new intensity often follows. Anger and blame.
The mad stage. I can picture that one.
Mm-hmm. Where you might feel super mad, like you want to stomp your feet or shout.
Deep resentment. Towards the betrayer, obviously, but maybe, others too.
Or yourself.
Yes. Sometimes, surprisingly, towards yourself or just the whole situation, your thoughts get loud, accusatory.
How could they do this? Or, I trusted them. How could I have been so stupid?
Those kinds of thoughts, it feels active, fiery, very different from the numbness or the heavy sadness.
A real shift in the emotional current.
Definitely. And the source explains that being angry can sometimes give you energy to deal with the situation.
That's a really interesting point. Anger as energy.
Yeah, it's crucial. Often misunderstood. Anger, despite the negative vibe, is often protective. An alarm bell.
How is it protective?
It can be a powerful force for setting boundaries,
Yes.
for asserting your needs, giving you the push to act when you've been wronged.
So it moves you out of just feeling like a victim. It can, yes. It helps you reclaim some agency, fight back against the injustice. If you understand it that way, it can be a tool.
A tool for self-protection, maybe rebuilding your sense of worth.
Exactly. But, and this is the important question it raises, how do you channel that energy productively?
Right. Because raw anger can be destructive.
For sure. It can cause more harm, lead to impulsive stuff, isolate you.
So managing it consciously,
Yeah.
like exercise, writing it down.
Things like that. Or channeling it into advocating for your own healing, setting firm boundaries. Then it becomes a catalyst for positive change.
It's the fire that can either burn you.
Or forge new strength in you.
Exactly.
Okay.
So after the fire of anger, the climb can take another turn. More wistful.
Yes. That can lead into bargaining. The source calls it the if-only stage.
The what-ifs.
Exactly. It feels like this desperate, sometimes exhausting attempt to mentally undo it all, to make deals in your head.
Replaying scenarios over and over.
Caught in that loop. If only I'd have done this differently, maybe it wouldn't have happened.
Or, oh, this one feels risky. Maybe if I just forgive them, everything can go back to normal.
That's a common one. It's a stage full of these if-onlys, this kind of magical thinking. Trying to mentally rewrite history.
It sounds quite sad, actually. Heartbreaking. Trying to resurrect something that's gone.
It is. And this bargaining really shows our deep human drive to restore order, and to avoid pain. Excruciating pain.
Yeah, the source says you're trying really hard to get some control back and to make the big pain go away.
It's like a last stand, trying to keep the illusion of control when control is just gone.
Negotiating with reality.
Yeah, whether it is with the person or God or fate. Trying to find a loophole, a way around the harsh truth.
It really shows how much we hate irreversible loss.
Yeah.
How much we want things to just go back.
Even when we kind of know they can't, psychologically, it's a coping mechanism. Avoiding the full impact by creating alternatives in your head.
Obsessively replaying things, trying to understand why, maybe even trying to fix it.
All driven by that hope that the pain will stop if the situation can just be reset. It's natural, but often, ultimately, often, yes, part of that slow, painful process of coming to terms with major change.
And when those if-onlys don't work, when you can't maintain that illusion anymore.
Well, that's often when the true heavy weight of reality finally lands. And that can lead into the depression and despair stage.
The super sad and tired stage, as the source puts it.
And this isn't just being a bit down, it's pervasive, heavy, like that heavy cloud over you.
Yeah, eclipsing everything, losing interest in things you normally love.
Exactly. A reluctance to play or do things you usually enjoy, a deep sense of hopelessness.
Thoughts like, nothing will ever be the same, or I'll never get over this.
Those can really dominate. It's this profound, weary acknowledgement of what's been lost. Very different from the active energy of anger.
It sounds like the emotional tank is just empty. A deep, quiet mourning.
It really signifies that full, unavoidable realization of the loss. The source explains, this stage is about truly understanding how much has been lost and feeling the full weight of that sadness.
It's necessary, though, even though it's so hard.
Incredibly hard, but yes, a necessary period of mourning for the relationship, the trust, the security, the future you imagined, maybe even part of yourself.
It's the point where your mind and body, after fighting through all the other stages,
Finally start to register the irreversible nature of it all.
and the deep sadness, the exhaustion, they're not weakness.
Not at all. They reflect the huge emotional effort that's already happened and just how deep the wound is. Psychologically, it allows for grieving.
Like needing to withdraw, reflect, process it all.
Yes, and paradoxically, that processing prepares you for the eventual possibility of moving forward again. It's like hitting rock bottom.
But maybe that's where the slow climb towards rebuilding can actually start.
Often, yes. It is.
It's the mountain climb. It's tough, exhausting, but there is a summit, or at least a clearing.
There is, which leads us to the final stage, often hard one, acceptance and hope.
Okay, I could do this stage. I like the sound of that.
Me too. It's described as a gradual peace emerging. Not suddenly, but slowly settling in.
Accompanied by clarity, a sense of possibility again.
Exactly. And this is so important. The source is clear. Acceptance is not being happy about what happened.
Right. It's not condoning it.
No. It's
Yeah.
accepting that it did happen and that you can find a way to live with that reality.
Your internal story starts to change from I'm broken to
something like, this happened, but I can heal, or I am stronger than I thought. That shift.
that's huge. Moving from feeling like a victim to embodying resilience, being a survivor.
Yes. Taking your power back. That's what it feels like.
And this stage, it's a choice.
It really represents a conscious, active choice. The source says, this is when you acknowledge what happened and choose to keep moving forward.
Finding ways to feel better and be strong again. So it's not passive resignation.
Not at all. It's acknowledging reality, integrating it into your story, and deciding to rebuild, maybe in new, stronger ways.
It's re-engaging with life.
Yes. It's deeply tied to resilience, that amazing human ability to bounce back, adapt, grow, even after awful things happen.
It's a shift from being stuck in the past.
To looking towards a future where healing and strength are real possibilities you actively work towards.
Finding peace not by changing the past, because you can't.
But by changing your relationship to it and investing in your own future well-being.
Okay, wow. That's a lot. What's really vital to remember through all of this, though?
Something the source repeats with beautiful simplicity. Healing from betrayal takes time.
Like a plant growing from a seed.
And it takes effort.
Yeah. It's not a race, not a checklist.
No, it's deeply personal, often painfully slow, and definitely not linear. Unique to everyone.
You need patience with yourself. Allow the feelings to come and go, and you have to actively engage.
Yes, active engagement with your own healing. You can't rush a plant. You can't rush your heart to mend.
Tend to yourself like a fragile seed. I like that.
And that reinforces the point about the stages not being rigid.
Right. The source says, these stages are like a map to help you understand your feelings, but your journey is your own.
Paramount. You might feel things from different stages at once. You might feel peace, then get plunged back into anger, revisit old feelings.
That fluidity, the detours, going in circles sometime, that's part of real healing.
It absolutely is. It shows how complex we are, how deep the impact is. It's dynamic, ebb and flow, not neat.
Understanding that takes the pressure off, maybe, to get over it quickly.
Totally. It validates the messy reality. A bad day doesn't mean you've lost all progress. It's just a point on your unique map.
But despite all the pain, the exhaustion, the difficulty, there's a core message of hope.
Absolutely. The source ends with this powerful, encouraging message. Healing is possible.
That's the anchor, isn't it? The light at the end of the tunnel.
It really is. It speaks to our incredible strength, our adaptability, even when your world feels shattered.
You can rebuild, find new strength, redefine yourself, recover.
That capacity is always there, always attainable. It's a journey to a stronger, more resilient you. And if we connect this to the bigger picture again, understanding these stages gives us such a powerful framework.
For self-understanding, self-compassion.
Yes, and for empathy towards others on similar paths. It gives us a language validation for something often isolating and confusing.
Recognizing these patterns helps normalize our own reactions.
Yeah.
and maybe offer better support to others.
Exactly. More informed, understanding support. It fosters deeper connection. It lets us say, this is so hard, but your feelings make sense and you are not alone.
A map for healing, but also for human connection. That's lovely.
I think so too.
So, bringing this all back to you, our listener, right now, what does this all mean for you? Maybe it's just acknowledging a feeling you've been trying to ignore, letting that super ouchy heart have some space.
Or simply recognizing that wherever you are on that mountain climb, it's okay. It's part of a process.
Yeah. This deep dive has shown us, I think, that the impact can be devastating, sure, but that journey through shock, pain, anger, bargaining, despair.
And ultimately, acceptance.
It's a testament to our resilience, our capacity to grow.
Yeah.
It's about choosing to move forward, rebuild, become stronger.
Consciously choosing that.
So maybe something to think about. If acceptance is about choosing to move forward, choosing strength, what's one small step, maybe?
Even just a tiny shift in perspective.
Yeah. What small thing could you do today to just acknowledge your own emotional journey, wherever you happen to be on that climb?
That very personal, nonlinear climb.
What stands out to you from this deep dive? What might light up your own path forward, even just a little bit?